like the way.
Welcome to our coverage of the NBA All-Star Game with Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg. This is Kevin Harlan.
And guys, this really sets up to be an incredible night in terms of excitement from the coaches to the players to us here in the booth. I mean, this is such a fantastic event to be a part of.
Guys, it really is the greatest all-star game in all the sports, in my opinion. We have the best players in the NBA at the peak of their powers. I mean, I can't wait to see what this year's game has in store for us.
Kevin Harlan here along with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. Now a look at the West All-Stars starting lineup. Curry is out there with Klay Thompson. Then it's Green. Then there's DeMarcus Cousins. And it's Durant in at small forward.
And for me, this is always one of the best weeks of the year. So much fun for everyone involved. Fans, players, coaches. What a blast.
Yeah, the NBA knows how to throw a party in celebrating its game. There's no doubt about that. And All-Star Week is one great show after another.
And, you know, this game, in a lot of ways, guys, has belonged to the Western Conference the entire decade. I mean, and last year they got the job done again. So although it did come down to the wire, the end result still was Western Conference dominance.
And here's Wall after the three-pointer from Klay Thompson.
And his presence as a scorer, it just has a calming effect for the rest of the team. He's a fallback option whenever they need one.
Now here's Curry. Good D by Drummond. And although victory for the Western Conference has been a theme in the All-Star game recently, another train break that was repeated last year was the East digging a big hole for itself. And you and I were talking about this, digging that hole for themselves early in the game and then mounting a huge comeback.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the East came back from 20 points down in the first half to tie it up in the fourth quarter. But once again, the comeback bid failed to come to fruition.
The East All-Stars shooting their first free throws tonight. The first trip to the stripe in this one. He hits both from the stripe.
And guys, we've had some All-Star game shootouts over the years, but really nothing compares to what we saw last year. The teams combined for 321 points. That's just mind-boggling.
It's stolen by Green. Here's Durant. Rebound by the East All-Stars.
And really a surprising amount of defense being played here tonight.
There really is. I mean, what's gotten into these guys? Usually it's all offense all the time in this game. I like that they're going at it like this. It looks more realistic.
Greg, you brought up last year's game, that unbelievable 163-158 win for the West, and it was indeed the highest scoring All-Star game of all time.
Yeah, and I mean, defense has never been what the All-Star game's about, but that was out of control and made for one heck of a show. And it looks like he might just be on his A game today, Clark.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, Steve Kerr had a few moments to share with me. Coach joked about how he planned for this game. He said that he took a look at the roster of the other conference and realized that there is no way to plan for all the talent and superstars on the other side of the ball. Saying, if I had to actually try and stop them from scoring, I might lose my mind. We don't want to see that, guys.
All right, Doris, thanks.
And this has become one of the must-see events of the year, which is obvious by all the star power in attendance here tonight.
Well, certainly the Hollywood crowd is on hand, the biggest names from the sports world, music stars. Everybody wants to be a part of All-Star Week.
And if you remember last year, I mean, no star shined brighter in this game than Russell Westbrook. How about 41 points, just one off Wilt Chamberlain's all-time record? And I'd say Russell was a very deserving MVP.
Paul George is checked in for the East. Lowry comes in for John Wall.
Defender there in the neighborhood, but not quite close enough. Good shot.
And stolen by Kyle Lowry. Always going up for the alley-oop here. Oh, and the jam by Butler.
Every All-Star game, you can count on it. You're going to see some heart-stopping plays. That was another one.
And the West All-Stars have possession. 4-point game. That All-Star game scoring record of Wilt Chamberlain, which Westbrook came so close to breaking last year, has now, Greg, been on the books for over 50 years.
Unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, when Westbrook had that 27 points at halftime, I thought for sure that record was going to go down.
The shot by George, no good.
Boy, but he was close, Kevin, to making the defense pay for lackadaisical coverage there.
Yeah, you may not be as lucky next time down if you're the defense. You cannot allow him to get those kinds of yards. And he's been a gem this year. I mean, there have been so many highlights for him all over the first half of this season.
And I've got a feeling, Greg, he's just getting warmed up. I think he'll be even better after the All-Star break.
And, you know, there were a couple of records that fell at last year's All-Star game, but to me the most shocking one of all, the number of three-pointers made. 48. I mean, the teams they combine for 48 threes.
They're getting a bunch of their points outside of the paint. 3 of their last 5 buckets are from three-point range.
And the defense is just not closing out quick enough.
So the timeout taken here, the first for the West All-Star. And those 48 three-pointers you talked about, Greg, the previous high for threes in an All-Star game was 30. So that's what I call shattering a record, huh? Man, oh, man.
It was insane. And really, that speaks to the evolution of the game as well. The game has become far more perimeter-oriented in terms of the skill set. And, guys, just thinking back to last year's All-Star game, I mean, something that was really special. How about the sight of Pau and Marc Gasol, 2 brothers facing each other on the opening jump ball?
Catching up on the changes for the East. Anthony's checked in for Bosh. LeBron comes in for Jimmy Butler. And Kyrie Irving subbed in for Kyle Lowry. The dish to Anthony. Three-pointer. It's rebounded by Gasol. That moment when the Gasol brothers competed for the opening tip really was unique. It was the first time 2 siblings have ever started an NBA All-Star game.
And you could sense, Kevin, that the significance was not lost on them. They both talked about how much it meant to them. It was just a really cool moment to be a part of.
Here's Irving following the score by Damian Lillard. The 3 from George. And good on the basket. Book it. George has got 9 points.
And from three-point range, guys, he has hit the ground running. What a first quarter.
Lillard, the pass to Griffin. Kyrie Irving with the rebound.
And there's such a sense of history that surrounds the All-Star game. I mean, this is the 65th time this event has been held. And you think back on all the legends of the NBA. They've all made their mark in some way on this contest.
Here is Harden. Paul George making his last shot. It's Harden with the drive. Misses in close.
And typically he has the touch to finish when he's in tight, but not sure on that possession.
Outside, George. He got it! That is one fantastic buzzer beater!
He hit that shot like it was nothing. Just another day at the office.
That is what...
Get ready for your And we welcome you back to the NBA All-Star Game as we get set to begin the second quarter.
And you can see these players now starting to get into a rhythm. Should see a lot better flow to the game here in the second quarter.
That's usually the case. I mean, it takes some time to gel with your teammates at the All-Star game.
And now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset our lineups. On the floor for the West All-Stars, they've got Griffin. Chris Paul is out there with Harden. And it's Hayward. And it's Gasol. And it's center.
Yeah, a little light on the fouls in terms of what's been called tonight. And that's usually the theme in this game.
I agree. I mean, the guys always play reasonably hard, but they don't necessarily play physically, if that makes any sense. The officials' jobs are usually pretty easy in this one.
And it's the East All-Stars with the ball.
Yeah, and, you know, Melo voted into the All-Star game last year, played in front of the home crowd in New York. In a lot of ways, what must have been a dream come true for him.
The drive by Paul. That's good from 17 feet away.
Wow, risky shot there size-wise, but the incredible skill that he possesses allows that one to go.
Well, the quick high release negated any height disadvantage he had right there.
For Carmelo, I'm sure he wished he had a better performance in that All-Star game. Clark, 6 of 20 from the field.
Yeah, I think he was probably forcing the issue a bit, playing in New York in front of the home fans. I think he'll look to redeem himself here.
And it's Paul missing. Hayward against Anthony. Fires the 3. On the rebound. Goes to the West All-Stars. Here's Hayward, rejected by Millsap. Now it's Thomas running. He can go all the way. Oh, he's going up for the alley-oop here. And Batum throws it down.
That's a terrific sequence at both ends of the floor. They block the shot and recover it for the fast break finish.
Timeout called here. The West All-Stars decide to talk it over.
Yeah, just frustrated by their lack of production offensively, and I can't blame them. I mean, they're getting the looks, but the shots just aren't falling.
Yeah, and the slump that they're having shooting the ball can take its toll on you if you're not mentally strong. So I like this timeout here to try to get those guys reset and refocused.
All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Thanks, guys. I got a chance to hear what Steve Kerr was saying to the team. He was intent on running the offense through DeMarcus Cousins. Coach asked him directly to take the reins of their offense. He wants him to have a huge impact at that end of the floor for the rest of this game. I'm sure Coach is hoping those changes turn the tide in this game and shrink the deficit before halftime. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Doris. Stephen Curry, he's checked in for Chris Paul.
Cutting into that lead a little bit. Way to finish.
And the basket is still shaking.
Oh, I mean, he has got power in bunches on that two-hand.
That's a weapon they've been allowed to use at will to date.
Yeah, the defense struggling to take that away from him.
And that one's good.
And just a little bit ragged defensively there, Clark.
They have a very long way to go to get within sight of the lead.
And from what we've seen thus far, I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Green dishes to Cousins. Thompson with it. George picks him up. Back to Cousins. 5 to shoot. And he makes no mistake on the slam dunk.
I love the ball movement there. He put that on a silver platter. Just served him up.
8 of the last 10 points at that end of the court have been scored on very high percentage shots in the paint.
And really, there is no resistance defensively right now. It is just far too easy.
Bosh against Cousins. Right side wall. Outside, George. The three. Rebound by DeMarcus Cousins. And the West All-Stars have possession. Trailing by 13. Stolen by George. And here we go. George heading to the hoop. Now that's how to finish the break. Throw down with force.
I think that play sort of sums up what we've seen throughout. Just simply being outplayed both sides of the ball. Smart basketball defensively turning into quick points.
And that can't continue. I mean, if they hope to get back in this game, I mean, it's really deflating from a morale standpoint. They need stops and points, not turnovers.
To the middle, poked away. Millsap with the steal. And now here comes Wall, leading the break. Rips down the breakaway slam.
Wow, the floor just really opened up for him on that possession.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for good offense, but that was just a terrible reaction from the defense.
Curry kicks to Green. Here's Cousins, and it's sent back by Bosh. The three from George. Gets it to go for bucket number 8. He's taken just 10 shots. And look at how the hustle game has been going for the East All-Stars.
Well, in the first half of play, they're closing out aggressively, blocking shots. A key indicator of their activity on the defensive side.
Another big aspect of their game tonight has been the fast break, transition opportunities. They're really keeping it up-tempo so far.
And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back. And the East All-Stars with some changes. Drummond's checked in for Bosh. James comes in for Paul Millsap. And it's Lowry in for John Wall. The West also making some changes. Damian Lillard comes in for Thompson. And it's Conley in for Curry. It's Drummond with the drive.
And I like the job they've done with working the basketball. They've been moving and getting quality shots.
And, Greg, their field goal percentage reflects that. I mean, they've been the much better team shooting the ball. And you know me, shooting percentage, always a function of shot selection.
And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2. The East All-Stars shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game. Free throw good, LeBron. And the East All-Stars with some changes. Anthony comes in for George. And Reggie Jackson subbed in for Jimmy Butler. The West All-Stars also changing it up. Marcus All's checked in for Cousins. Griffin comes in for Green. And Gordon Haywards is subbed in for Kevin Durant. Here's Lillard. And the bucket counts. And he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
Now, how about how he sets his man up there, runs him right into the screen, and then gets the basket.
James Harden. He's checked in for Mike Conley. He's with the ball. The biggest lead of the game was 24 points. And a wide-open look for James. Sinks the triple. James has got 5 points in the quarter.
You can't afford to get him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
Ball's knocked loose. It's stolen by Lowry. He feeds it to Jackson. And here's Anthony for three. And oh, he hits the buzzer beater.
And money to end the quarter there with the triple.
They knew exactly what they wanted to do right there, Greg, and the timing was right on time.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Ernie Johnson alongside Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Thank you for joining us live inside this sold-out arena. We are rocking and rolling. Paul George taking care of business in this one. He ended up with 22 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 steal. He put last game's performance behind him, doing some nice work in the opening period tonight. How about you, Kenny? What did you think about this home team? And Shaq, let's get your input on the visiting team.
Well, when you look at the opponent field goal percentage, that tells the whole story. They gave up way too many good looks. When they come out of the break, they got to play way tougher, Ernie. Get those hands up. Get in your opponent's face. Do something.
And that's going to do it for now as the second half is just about to get started. Now back to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew. We will see you later.
And welcome back to the second half of the NBA All-Star Game. Always an exciting night of basketball.
Yeah, and I'm looking for the temperature to start to rise here a little bit in this second half.
Yeah, I'm exactly with you there. I think we'll see a little less showmanship and a little more intensity from here on out.
They've got LeBron James. Jimmy Butler is out there with Wall. Then there's Chris Bosh. And it's Drummond in at the center position. So that's the 5 in the game for the East All-Stars.
And that's the way you want to defend. Nice job there.
Always important to have that good interior defense.
The defense ready for him on that possession. They had to be because he is so strong in the paint.
That's the epitome of teamwork right there, Kevin, on the alley-oop.
Clark, what about the finish? Bringing it down with some thunder.
Yeah, lightning too.
But, guys, the pass, for me, even better. He absolutely put that on a platter for him.
And the officials call over the back. A little too aggressive there.
Boy, did he go hard to the boards, but clearly went over the back in doing it.
Yeah, kudos for the effort. I always love that kind of effort, but he was just a little overzealous.
Here's Curry. He's got 7. Screened by Cousins. Wall with some nice D.
Good pick, but he just couldn't make it count.
Yeah, nice job of setting the screen by his teammate there, and I'm sure he appreciated it.
Curry passes to Thompson. Fades away and sinks the tough shot. Thompson's got 5.
And that's what you like to see right there. A solid move to give himself some room and take it inside.
And the East All-Stars decide to take their first time out here.
And I think taking a time here to talk things over is a smart idea.
One of the things you want to do is make sure everybody is clearly on the same page with the game plan. And sometimes you need a timeout to make sure that's the case.
And the East All-Stars making a change here. George is checked in. From deep. And it's Klay Thompson with the rebound.
1 for 5 on offense. A slow start here in the second half.
Cousins with a screen on James. And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back.
Clearly a mental lapse and at an inopportune time.
Yeah, that's a terrible mistake, Greg, to make it any time. But it's really exacerbated when you make it at this time.
And there's the call on Andre Drummond. That's his first foul.
He's been one of their more reliable options today, guys. I mean, his shooting has led them to this lead.
Outside Durant for the three. The shot is off.
You know, so many games are decided by which team wins the rebound battle, and that's held true in this one so far.
And Clark, their effort on the glass has given them the advantage, but it's also been the effort in general that's made a difference.
Curry dishes to Green. Inside, here's Durant, and he banks in the layup. Durant's got 8 points.
You know, of the last 6 baskets, 5 have come on the interior. This is major smash mouth basketball, guys.
All about imposing your will offensively, getting exactly the kind of looks their coach drew up.
Paul George really making a difference here.
He's been locked in from deep. They're giving him too much breathing room and definitely paying the price for it.
Paul's checked in for the West.
And, you know, the fan voting is what determines the starters in the All-Star game. Then the coaches will decide on the reserves. But either way, whether you're picked by the fans or the coaches, earning the title NBA All-Star, that's an honor none of these players will ever forget.
Here's LeBron. That's good. 9 points in the game so far.
It's been about tempo and pace with this group, and it's led to a huge advantage in fast break points.
Greg, it's really the main reason they're in front. All that early offense. I mean, when they've had the chance to push it, they've pushed it.
Unloads from 13, and that one's good. Cousins. Cousins has got 4 points now in the quarter.
Just a major size difference between the defender and shooter on that possession.
And Greg, without a hand in his face, he's simply going to spray whoever's there.
Wall, that's good.
You know, it's really hard not to notice the difference in the passing of these two teams today.
It's a stark discrepancy when you look at the assist columns and you see that difference as far as the fluidity in their respective offenses.
And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by James. Thomas checked in for the East. Knocked away. Here's Durant, and it's sent back by George.
+8 in the rebound differential. One more reason why they're in control.
Yeah, double-digit advantage on the scoreboard. They've taken the initiative. They've played, I think, with more purpose so far. He's starting to heat up from outside. That's his second this half.
And then Durant with the jam.
Tell you what, he's not an easy guy to stop when he's got his sight on the rim.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher.
Did he just go chop there with that one-hand tomahawk slam?
Catching up on the changes for the East. Anthony's checked in for James. Batum comes in for George. And it's Lowry in for Butler. And Lillard kicks to Griffin. Back to Lillard. 18 feet out. The shot no good. The East All-Stars go the other way with it. It's Carmelo Anthony on the wing, guarded by Harden. Offensive rebound. And Drummond kicks to Thomas. Drops one in from the wing. Thomas got his first basket of the night.
Well, I think he shot the ball well, guys, but I don't think he shot it enough. The more shots he gets from here on out, the more they'll stretch out this lead.
The shot by Lillard, wide open. It's good. The assist that time from Harden.
Well, he certainly isn't the one to blame for them being in the hole. He's been on the money with his game.
Anthony tried to bank it in, but he misses.
High-quality shot, just a little off there with the release.
And, Greg, that has him S-H-H-ing, shaking his head. Tough miss that time. Heads-up play there, guys, on the assist and the finish.
And Lillard kicks to Griffin. Griffin sets the screen for Durant. Nice teamwork to set up the pick play and make the space for the J.
How about the screen that frees him up, though, for the jumper?
Thomas passes to Anthony. Drills the three-pointer. Anthony's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Add another triple to their second half total.
They came out of the break just dropping bombs and just not letting up at all.
And Cousins gets it to go.
He's come out here in the second half and done a nice job moving, getting good looks, and finding his range.
The shot by Lowry, no good.
That's a shot he's got to hit. You don't get many looks better from that range.
6-second difference between the shot and game clock. And the ball travels out of bounds. It was last touched by Harden.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
And the East All-Stars with some changes. Chris Bosh is checked in for Andre Drummond, and Reggie Jackson subbed in for Thomas. The West All-Stars also changing it up. Marc Gasol's checked in for Cousins, and Gordon Hayward is subbed in for Kevin Durant. Lowry against Lillard. It's stolen by Lowry. Deep two from Anthony. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him.
Get ready for your East All-Star Dance Time. Now let's get it all in perspective.
Welcome, everyone, back to our coverage of the NBA All-Star Game. A great night of basketball here on 2K Sports.
And we're seeing some world-class basketball being played here tonight.
That's exactly what you'd expect coming from the absolute greatest players on the planet.
On the court for the West All-Stars, getting the fourth quarter going. Hayward out there with Griffin. Then it's Marc Gasol. Then it's Conley. And it's Bledsoe in at point guard. George, no good. Now here's Gasol. On its way from Hayward for two. A quick shot there, and it's off target.
Defense better not make a habit of giving him that shot. I mean, he doesn't miss many of them.
And it's George again missing. And so here are the West All-Stars. Conley into the lane. Hayward on the wing. All sorts of time. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
I guess even he has to miss one of those once in a while.
Millsap a screen from deep. George. And that one's good. George has got the fourth quarter started here with a bucket for the East All-Stars. Gasol a screen on Lowry. Here's Hayward, and lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot two. That one on George.
And guys, more and more, we're seeing the league try to protect the health of the players. I mean, you see the evidence on the court. Over the last 5 years, the league has cut down the number of cameramen along the baselines in half, giving these great athletes a little more runway to land safely.
And that's good as he hits both of his shots. And speaking of more space for the players, there's even been talk of widening.
And these fans are getting treated to just some amazing aerial action in this game.
And that's the way it should be, right? I mean, it's All-Star Week. You don't lay it in, you punch it in.
Gasol setting the pick for Bledsoe. Out to Hayward. Fires from deep. And a great assist by Bledsoe as that one goes in. Hayward's got 5 points in the quarter. Clark, they've shared the load offensively.
Yeah, they've done a nice job with it, Kevin. Everybody's touching the ball. There's a nice flow to what they're doing offensively.
And, guys, they put the defense on their heels. You can see right now they're trying to react, and that's what you want when you're in a rhythm offensively.
Good-looking screen by Gasol. From outside the arc, Hayward can hit.
Physically, there's no doubt they've been the stronger team. That plus 10 rebound advantage tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, not to mention what it says on the scoreboard. They're really pushing them around. Straight bully ball.
Conley against Batum. Conley dishes to Griffin. And that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Millsap.
And you know what? Just a little too much heat on that pass for him to come up with the steal.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that was going to be a tough catch for either one of them.
Catching up on the changes for the East. Andre Drummond's checked in for Anthony. Thomas comes in for George. And Irving subbed in for Kyle Lowry. And it's out of bounds. And they say last touch by Griffin.
And that's just carelessness there. I mean, you have got to have your head in the game.
kicks to Irving. Shot goes down. Very quick possession right there.
That's leadership.